I keep returning to the same thought, not because it hurts the most, but because it feels unfinished. I did everything I knew how to do. That sentence still sits solidly inside me. Not defensively. Not proudly. Just honestly. When I look back at the years of raising my children, I don't see neglect or carelessness. I see effort. I see intention. I see a parent trying, every single day, to do right by the people entrusted to them. I wasn't perfect. I know that. But I showed up. I paid attention. I made choices carefully, believing they mattered. I believed that what I taught at home would last, not as rules, but as roots. At the time, it felt steady. Clear. I knew what I was aiming for. The values I believed in were simple, even if living them wasn't always easy. Respect, especially for people older than you, or people who had earned their place through work and time. Patience, the idea that not everything comes quickly, and that waiting is part of becoming someone solid. Effort, that you don't quit just because something is uncomfortable. Accountability, that when you make a mistake, you own it before you explain it. These weren't ideas I picked up casually. They came from how I was raised, from what I saw work over a lifetime. I believed these values didn't just shape behavior, they shaped character. And character, I thought, would guide my children long after I was gone. For a long time, it seemed like it was working. I heard the words echoed back to me. I saw the habits forming. I felt a quiet confidence that what we were building at home would hold. The shift didn't announce itself. It rarely does. It came in small ways. Changes in language. New priorities I didn't fully recognize at first. Different ways of responding to frustration, to authority, to disagreement. None of it alarming on its own. Just unfamiliar. I told myself this was normal. That every generation speaks differently. That adaptation is not the same as loss. But over time, the distance grew clearer. Conversations felt shorter. Advice felt less welcome. Values that once felt obvious began to sound outdated when spoken out loud. Not rejected harshly, just quietly set aside. I didn't notice exactly when my voice got quieter. There was no moment when someone told me to stop speaking. It just happened gradually. Suggestions met with polite acknowledgement instead of curiosity. Questions answered before I finished asking them. I was still listened to, technically. But I wasn't sought out. That distinction matters more than I expected. I found myself choosing words more carefully, wondering if I sounded old-fashioned, or rigid, or simply out of step. I started holding back, not because I had less to say, but because I wasn't sure it would land the way it once did. That uncertainty was new to me. What surprised me most was the confusion, not the disappointment. I didn't feel angry. I didn't feel betrayed. I felt unsure. As if I had missed a memo somewhere along the way, one that explained how the rules had changed. I asked myself whether the values I taught were wrong, or simply incomplete. Whether the world had grown more complex in ways I hadn't fully understood. Whether my children were adapting wisely, or just differently. I wanted to understand, not correct. I could see that the modern world asks different things of them. Faster responses. More flexibility. New definitions of success and fulfillment. I could also see that some of the patience I preached doesn't fit easily into a culture built on immediacy. I don't judge that. I really don't. I know every generation faces pressures the one before it couldn't imagine. Still, there's a quiet ache in realizing that what once felt foundational now feels optional. It's strange to hold two truths at the same time: pride in the people your children have become, and grief for the parts of yourself that no longer seem to fit in their world. I don't believe one world has to erase the other. I don't want that. I don't want my values to dominate or to disappear. I just want to understand how they can coexist with everything new my children carry. Because at the heart of it, this isn't about being right. It's about continuity. About knowing that something meaningful can be passed down without becoming a burden. I sit with these thoughts more often than I admit. Not searching for answers, exactly. Just trying to hold the complexity without simplifying it into blame or regret. I suppose the question that remains for me, and maybe for anyone listening, is this: can the values that shaped one generation still have a place in the next, without either world needing to erase the other?